Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Ready for another chess puzzle deep dive?
Absolutely. Always up for a good challenge.
All right, let's see what we've got today.
Interesting.
Today's chess puzzle is a bit of a tricky one. White's got a pawn on b5, a pawn on a4.
Okay, so a bit of a pawn chain forming there.
Yeah, and another pawn on e4.
All right, standard stuff so far.
And one more on g4. Knight's sitting pretty on c3, queen's poised on g3.
Okay, can already see some potential attacking lines there.
Definitely. And a little pawn protecting her on h3. Bishop's hanging out on b2.
So a bit tucked away there, but could come into play later.
Yep, the king's tucked away on h2, and the rook stands tall on f1. Now, black's got their rook on a8.
Classic back rank setup.
Another rook on f8, bishop on a7, and a pawn on b7. Their other bishop is on f7.
That bishop pair could cause some trouble if white isn't careful.
For sure, the king's chilling on g7 with a pawn on h7. There's also a pawn on c6, another on g6.
Okay, so black's controlling the center a bit there.
Yeah, and a knight on h6, a pawn on a5, and, oh boy, a queen staring down the board on e3. That's got to be uncomfortable for white.
No kidding, that queen is a real menace right now, putting a ton of pressure on white's position.
All right, so let's get this going. What jumps out at you? What are some initial thoughts?
Well, obviously that black queen on e3 is the big issue. She's controlling a lot of squares.
Yeah, definitely a problem.
Any direct attack on her is probably going to backfire right now.
Right, because there's just too many ways for black to defend her.
Exactly. So we need to be a little bit more subtle here.
So we're not going to be able to just take the queen or attack it directly.
Right. What we need to do is find a move that forces her to retreat, like make her position uncomfortable.
So not a direct attack, but more of a strategic maneuver.
Exactly. Something that makes black think, okay, wait, I need to move my queen or I'm going to be in trouble.
So looking at the board, what could force the queen to move?
It might seem a little counterintuitive, but the key is to control the center.
Control the center. How are we going to do that in this position?
Well, there's one move that stands out to me.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the move?
The answer is white. c3 to d5.
Pawn on c3 to d5.
Interesting.
Yeah, at first glance, it might not seem like much, but it really changes the dynamics of the board.
Okay, let's break it down. Why does this work?
Okay, so if white pushes the pawn to d5, it immediately puts pressure on the black queen.
Right, because now the queen can't take the pawn on d5.
Exactly. If the queen takes, then the knight on c3 can swoop in and capture the queen.
So that's a no-go for black.
It's a trap.
Okay, so what does black do then, if they can't take the pawn?
Well, they're forced to move the queen back, which is exactly what we want.
Okay, I see it now. So by making this one move, white forces the black queen to retreat.
Yeah, and it does a few other things too.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, it gives white more control of the center of the board, which is always a good thing.
Right, because now that pawn on d5 is kind of anchoring white's position. Exactly, and it also restricts black's development a little bit. Makes it harder for them to get their pieces out.
Wow, so it's really a multi-purpose move.
Yeah.
It defends against the queen, controls the center, and even limits black's options.
Yep, that's the beauty of chess. Sometimes the simplest moves are the most powerful.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about forcing the queen back, it's about what happens next.
Right, because now white has a chance to really build on this advantage.
Exactly. Maybe develop their pieces, start an attack, who knows. That's what makes this position so interesting.
Totally. All right, well, there you have it. A seemingly simple pawn move that can completely change the course of the game.
Definitely a move worth remembering.
Absolutely. Thanks for breaking it down for us.
Of course. Always
All
happy to talk chess.
And thank you all for listening. Until next time, keep those brains sharp and those chessboards ready.